Brezza, the city-bred SUV.
Punjab Kings are really proving to be the bogey team for the Super Kings. That is 5 straight wins that Punjab have registered against Chennai in the IPL, including 2 at the fortress that is, or used to be, Chepauk. It still very much is. And Punjab have just carried on their confidence from the win at the Eden Gardens to taking 2 crucial points for themselves and, more importantly, off CSK. How vital could it be come the end of the league stage? We look back at a game which was decided by Punjab's bowlers and finished off by Besto and Russo, and eventually it should have finished off earlier, but we'll wonder why it went so late. How do you explain a game like this? And we'll unpack all of it on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout, powered by JBL. Mitch McClenaghan, Dasgupta, senior correspondent Shashank Kishore, all in readiness. Is that an easy win?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it was very, more than easy, I'd say comfortable. Never looked in danger while the run chase was on, was always in control. Yes, ideally speaking, you would have wanted them to finish maybe an over earlier or something. Maybe Shashank, the way he batted very differently from how we've seen him bat.
Mustafizur Rahman on his way out of the league may have showed the rest of the IPL what is Shashank Singh's weakness.
Yeah. So I guess, I think it was a comfortable win in the end.
Major blows dealt by the 2 overseas big hitters at the top?
Yeah, massively. Johnny Bairstow and Riley Rousseau were outstanding. They really were dominated. On a wicket that looked like from the first innings was difficult to score on, I think they both struck at 160 plus. Showed how to play on that wicket. They're both very strong players, very powerful hitters, and that obviously lended itself towards them being able to clear the boundary and hit strong shots. So that was significant. That broke the back of the chase, and that's probably why it kind of teetered towards the end, because there was no real rush for Punjab, to try and finish that any early. Yes, net run rate, but they probably would have been looking to secure the points first.
Showed how to play on this wicket. Interesting comments from the CSK captain about his own home surface today.
Yeah, it was, I think more than the surface, dew played a big part, and that's been a big factor at home this year in Chennai. You've seen too many games skewed in the second innings because of dew. And this was no different. Once dew came in as early as the second over of the chase, and the start that Punjab got, it was almost like a no way back for CSK.
But he is making some comments on how it was not like the Sunrisers game, where CSK managed to post a good score.
Yeah, this was pitch number 4, which hadn't hosted a game for 10 days now. So
this was nice and fresh.
It's not the first time this season, is it?
Yeah. And we are going into the deep end of the league.
But having said that, listen, obviously what happened, this is what I think, is when around 8:30, when the dew starts forming, in the first half, the pitch can get sticky as well.
Right.
I think that's what happened. The pitch got sticky, and then obviously the benefit of batting second is you get a 7-minute roller on that surface. So with that wettish or whatever, you get that 7 minutes roller, it gets better then. So it is very difficult because obviously dew is something that you can't really predict. Because end of the day, when it comes to preparing a pitch, the major component is the moisture factor. How much moisture do you keep? A lot of things depend on it, the temperature, the evaporation rate, and things like that. So at times, it can happen. You can get that wrong.
And even then, with all the factors favouring Punjab, the last 20 runs or so took almost an eternity, where at least I counted 2 ball changes.
2 ball changes.
2 ball changes in the last 7 overs.
Yeah. And it made a difference to Fizz. And so this could have been a game with 180?
No.
Well, yeah. What if they got another 10 runs? It could have been close.
And also the fact that Deepak Chahar didn't finish his first over. Initially with that dryish new ball, a little bit of movement, you never know.
And they anyway were without Patirana, without Deshpande. But CSK are the masters of Chepauk, especially these games. It's not new to them. The choice of overseas, the use of Mitchell, the impact sub of Rizvi, the batting order, very unlike CSK.
Especially that impact sub. I was very surprised with that impact sub. Because like I said, I said this before, if you're getting an impact sub in the 10th or the 11th over, if I'm not wrong, Samir Rizvi came in, then you're looking to go hard after the bowling because you still have at least 2 more batters to come after that. Then you're looking to get to 180. And I would have said fine if the intent was there and there was, and they got anywhere near that total, I would have kind of agreed with that sub. But then the intent wasn't there and they ended up getting a below par score.
What I find even more strange, Mitch, is I thought they picked Daryl Mitchell for big money at the auction for exactly these
The bat in the middle.
games, and he just got his best innings in the last game.
Yep, he did. Look, they obviously identify that they need him to bat in the power play. And today, they made the right move in putting Dubé at number 3. I agree with you.
That's fine.
Yes.
Yeah, but then it should have been Daryl Mitchell, the opportunity to bat in the middle there. He surprises you with his ability to play spin. He can play spin pretty well. He just got off to a poor start to the tournament. So, yeah, they have gone away from trusting him in the middle, and that must be a concern for Daryl Mitchell as well. And maybe they thought towards the back end tonight, if it drew up, that he was going to be better at hitting through the line. But I just don't think you can leave resources like himself, like Daryl Mitchell and Moeen Ali, and you play Rizvi ahead. You'd only play Rizvi ahead if you thought that Rizvi was that much better at playing spin in the middle than those two players. And there might be an argument for Daryl Mitchell. I think that the verdict is out on whether Rizvi would be a better spin player than Daryl Mitchell. But there's definitely no way that I could see that someone would be better at playing spin than Moeen Ali. But particularly a left arm spinner and a leg spinner.
And also Daryl Mitchell plays spin well. He's one of the better overseas spin players.
Yeah.
Right. And also this whole concept of saving your better players for the last 3-4 overs, I don't understand the logic behind it. I can understand if he's only that kind of a batter who can only bat those last overs. He's not that kind. He internationally, for his international side, New Zealand, he bats in the middle overs and then bats through. So he has that ability to do it. Then why not? I mean, unless, like I said, unless it was a very specific role for Samir, go out there, bat freely.
But he didn't do that either.
Exactly, that's my point.
Yeah.
And that's where I find it a little surprising. If he had done that and got out, which is fair enough, no problem, someone like Dubé coming in at 3, even Jadeja coming, okay, you wanted a left-hander, making sure that Harpreet Brar doesn't bowl or whatever, putting pressure on. I am with them as far as those calls are concerned, but not with this one. Yeah.
You could have just split them. You could have put Mitchell at the time Jadeja got out, and then kept Moeen Ali for later.
Yeah.
It was a strange one, and as it turns out, I mean, social media has picked that up, but towards the end, they also had MS Dhoni in form at the end. That would have worked, but Daryl Mitchell has been denied strike at the end as well by the great man. He's been made to run 2.
It's happened. I think Ambati Raidu will have a nice drink with Daryl Mitchell. He was refused a run in a famous game in England with India needed 1 run to win, I think.
Yes, correct.
And then Dhoni failed to get that of the final ball. So.
Wow. Okay, let's take some questions. UBYT on our YouTube Live. I think CSK batters didn't fail. It was the positions that they were sent into that made them fail. And that's what I want to say is UBYT says, decision making of CSK has not been very good and it's backfiring them. But it's been okay till now. Today was such a strange one. And I think Gaikwad was batting most of that innings, right? So this obviously has been decided.
Exactly, because he was batting when the impact sub was taken, Ritu was batting. So it would be...
The persistence to put Jadeja up into a high position is one which is, if tried, yesterday he got some runs, but he didn't look like he was going to take a game away from you in those first 2 games, and it hasn't worked since. So, in my opinion, I think that's a fail. I think particularly because they've been playing Moeen Ali in the recent games, he's been there, and he's a really good batsman and a serious player of spin in the middle. So, I'd always look at putting Moeen Ali ahead of Jadeja. And, if they're going to have a run at it at the end, I thought they were putting Jadeja up to get him some runs so he could slide back down to his finishing role at the bottom of the order, which is what they need him to do. I thought they would have slid him back down now, particularly with Mo being on the side.
I think that's a good point, that they're almost searching for where Jadeja the batter is going to work. And we've had this discussion before that what he did last year, he won them the title batting just towards the end.
Yeah.
Less balls, handle pressure, but sending him up is almost doing a disservice to the rest of the batting. And it looks like even to Jadeja's own form, which would be concerning to India as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm 100%. And maybe that's the reason you have two left-arm spinners there. You have Akshar and Jadeja in the Indian squad. Because he's been bowling well, but then batting has been a bit of a concern. But having said that, I mean, I'm still all right. I'm not going to criticize that call because I think it was Harpreet Brah's first over itself, and you send in a left arm, whether it's Moin, whether it's Jadeja. At least you tell Jadeja, you know what, it's only the 8th over or the 9th over, so take your time. You haven't got too many runs. You get some runs under your belt. You have the luxury of taking some time. I can understand all that bit. So I think I'm all right with those calls apart from that impact.
Who out of those two do you think is going to score the most runs?
Moin or Jadeja?
Yeah.
It's an interesting one. I mean, I think
but Moin had that good innings in Lucknow.
Yeah, he did.
Playing spin well.
Yeah. But Jadeja also does. It's just that why I'm saying this, if this had been the 12th, 13th over, then I would say Moin, Jadeja, because you could have easily said, you know what, Jadu, just go out there, couple of overs, take your time, go run a ball initially, and then you do what you do. So, yeah, I mean, maybe Moin would have been a better choice. I'm not disagreeing with that. But I'm also not averse to Jadeja coming before that.
Okay, let's take some more questions and comments. Rahul Ranjan says sending Rizvi as impact player was a blunder. And that's not because he didn't score. It was just not a bright decision to keep Mitchell down and not use him before you had to use your impact player. As it turns out, an extra bowler would have helped them with Deepak Chahar's injury. CSK lost the match tactically. That seems to be the theme by and large. What else do we have? Let's talk about Punjab Kings, who've really put in a professional performance. Bhupati Sarasam, how do you rate Karan's captaincy? He's doing such a good job. Should Punjab name Karan captain for the rest of the season, even if and when Dhawan is back?
Well, I don't know whether they're going to do it or not, but definitely he's doing a fabulous job of leading the side. I think from the last game to this one, some of the calls, it's a brave call to bowl a leg spinner in the 19th over. And it wasn't by chance. I think it was planned. It kept that extra over, and we were, to be fair, thinking, at least I was thinking,
he's missed a trick,
why hasn't he bowled his over? He's bowled only 3. And now we know why he had bowled 3 by then. So I think that's a brave call, brilliant. And yeah, I mean, and the team's looking different. I mean, maybe obviously got to do with the last game, the run chase and everything else. But yeah, the body language looks different. The top order, which wasn't firing, they are doing all right now. So a lot of positives.
And we've seen Karan captain in short stints before. Something about him, the personality, it's infectious. Even when they're losing, that was when Punjab were out of the playoff race or far from it. But would you keep Karan as captain? I mean, Shikhar's one of those who's been through these with other franchises and he takes it pretty well. He's a chill guy.
Does Shikhar need to captain for himself? I don't think so. I think Sam Curran's done a great job. He's looked calm. He's competitive. And he's the type of leader that you follow because he's in the game. But he also on the field, he looks very supportive with his bowlers and always watching the field, always changing the angles, making sure guys are aware and in the right place. And that's probably been the noticeable difference is that tactically their field positions have been sound. Quite often they're getting hit to their sweepers. And that's why their bowling unit's going so well. Maybe they haven't been bowling as well as other teams, but their field has been great. It's covered all the angles correctly, and that's leadership. That's coming from Sam.
And also momentum is with them now with 2 back-to-back wins, and they play Chennai next at home, so you don't want a leadership change with the playoff on the line.
New home, adopted home, Dharamshala, that's our next question. How does this gear Punjab up for Dharamshala, asks Shivang Madan, considering the next few games are there? I mean, they'd be flying at the moment, wouldn't they?
Yeah, and I mean, it suits them. Mullanpur didn't suit them because of the nature of the pitch, right? It was slow and stuff. I think, Dharamshala pitch, which is very, and it has been their home in the past as well. Last few years, they've played every year. They play at least a couple of games there. So they know the conditions very well. And it's very much like the old Mohali Stadium, the conditions. So I think this should be all right, with those 2 games.
I think they would have done well to note the bowling problems that Chennai Super Kings have. And suddenly the campaign is no longer on such a strong footing.
Absolutely.
Tushar Deshpande with a niggle. Deepak Chahar gone off the field with another niggle. Mustafizur Rahman's gone. Patirana has again got a niggle. So the guys who they've got on the bench are very inexperienced. Mukesh Chaudhary has played one game in the last 2.5 years, and that one game he got hit for 27 earlier in the season in 1 over. And Simarjeet Singh is the other Indian fast bowler. He's played one game since 2022.
This is the business end of the season.
So the guys they've got on the bench are completely undercooked. So the bowling's not looking all that strong.
So on that note, Richard Gleeson had a good outing today, but there are questions here on Theekshana. Let's go back to Theekshana.
Yeah, Theekshana is an option.
They missed a trick there as well, Mitch, today, looking at how spin.
Yeah, we spoke about it in the mid-show.
How hard spin was to play.
Sorry, in the mid-show we spoke about, I know we're looking in hindsight, but maybe they could have just named the 3 overseas players and given themselves the option of maybe bringing a Satner or Theekshana in. But I thought Gleeson looked good tonight. I think that's promising signs for them, how he bowled with the new ball. He's a good new ball bowler. He swung the ball both ways, had a little bit of zip, one thang through to Dhoni and hit the gloves hard. So he was impressive on his first outing in IPL in difficult conditions. So he's going to be good from there. It's what you do with that other spot now. Mushtafizur's gone. If Padiran is out for an extended more than one game, I would probably look at, against Punjab, I would probably look at playing Mitchell Satner. Because you can bowl him in the power play to Johnny Bairstow and to Prabh Simran. And then obviously if you get Riley Rousseau out early, he'll be a good operator in the middle. He's a wily bowler. He's experienced. He'd be playing in any other franchise in the competition. He would be my pick to come in and partner Richard Gleeson instead of Theekshana. But if Padiran is not right.
I think he has to be right up there among the most unluckiest of overseas spinners in the IPL. Mitchell Santner. 5 years into the IPL and he's hardly played a handful of games. And I think if the question's posed to him about, next year, he should straight away say, I want to head back into the auction.
No questions. No one leaves
No
Chennai.
questions asked.
No New Zealander leaves Chennai.
I reckon Mitchell Satner will go for a lot of money in the auction next year. I know we don't usually see that with overseas spinners. Well, when I say a lot of money in the big auction, he'll go for a decent price.
But I still don't think he's going to play in Dharamshala. I picked Theekshana. Because Dharamshala, that pitch is...
You've got Moeen though. He's
maybe enough. Because why I'm saying this is there's not going to be any help for the spinners. Generally, there isn't. Smallish ground, high altitude, you can hit through the line. Sorry? Threat of dew. So, ideally a fast bowler, if there isn't an option, then Theekshana, who can bowl in the power play as well. So somebody who can bowl in the power play and doesn't really bother too much if the pitch is not turning or whatever. So you can still get the ball to fizz through a flat surface.
Couple of very quick ones. Considering Dhawan might be fit, where would he slot in?
Good question.
Will Prabh make way, or would you just stick with this team if it's winning?
I'm going to stick with this team, to be honest.
Stick with this team? Shikhar Dhawan, original captain, maybe just say, right now let's just keep things going unless form.
Especially what Shashank just mentioned. They need to win all their games. They're still in that race. So why try and fix something which ain't broke? So
that's
just
what they've got. And with Russo and Bairstow, that's top heavy again then. So Prabh and Bairstow and Russo at 3.
And Dhawan had his issues in the power play, striking at 125.
And also that's the only position he bats.
The only logical call I can see is if you have to leave your most out of form batter out, that's probably Jitesh. And then Prabh takes the gloves or Bairstow takes the gloves.
Yes. But then who bats where then?
Everyone just slots back one position down. That's all I can see, because if you want Shikhar Dhawan, experienced player, end of the season, that's all we can see over here, surely. Would you keep him out though? And tell him, have a word and say, Shikhar, you know what?
I would say that. As long as they're winning, I'd say, you know what, Shikhar, just take a break.
If they do make the playoffs and have the most remarkable, dramatic turnaround and other results go their way and they make a backdoor entry, they will also have to contend more than other teams with the loss of notable English players for those players. So you will definitely need Shikhar Dhawan at that point. But we wait and see. Maybe it's not a problem they need to get to until we have more information on Dhawan. What else do we have? There were a few other ones on CSK as well. We just answered that, JM, on do Punjab stand a chance for the playoffs? We brought out the remaining fixtures. They play CSK again now in Dharamshala. and then they close out their season with RCB, also in Dharamshala, and then Rajasthan in Guwahati. So a lot of venues we haven't seen yet in this season, and finish with Hyderabad in Hyderabad. Anybody willing to say that they will at least win all their games? Let alone, whether they make the playoffs or not, we don't know. But if they win all will they win all their games? Do they look good enough at the moment?
They're in form. And form and momentum count for something. You know, after their triumphant win with Johnny Bairstow the other night, to back that up against Chennai in Chennai in completely different conditions, they're going to have a lot of confidence. So, you know, Chennai didn't bounce back against Lucknow when they had the return fixture.
Yeah.
I expect Punjab to go up to Dharamshala and actually, you know, win both fixtures against Chennai. So it flows on from there. I think that'll be massive. If they can do that, yeah, I think you'll know whether they can win the rest of the games.
Listen, I mean, they're a dangerous side, and they've got the side. They tick most of the box in terms of batting, bowling, you know, top order, middle, everything else. So I mean, are they good enough to win it? I think yes, they are. Will they win it? Obviously, it's difficult to say.
Punjab have never given us the confidence of consistency, ruthlessness. They always, I mean, last year I think they made the points. They just didn't have the run rate.
Tailed off in the second half.
Yeah, so that's Punjab Kings for you, but maybe this is different, and Sam Curran could play his part here. We also have to mention, if they do win all their games, they're taking more points of CSK. They will take points of SRH, who could be again contenders. RCB is the other game that we mentioned, and Rajasthan, who you think will be pretty good when those two teams play each other. So Rajasthan, you almost think you're not competing with them, but you are competing with Chennai and Hyderabad, and if you take points off them, 16 may just be enough. It's a massive game for Hyderabad tomorrow against Rajasthan Royals. Right, there's a lot more here on Arshdeep Singh, and I think we'll put that in the storage for a little while for now. I just think it's been an inauspicious 24 hours for all those selected for the Indian team. But it was good to see Shivam Dubey bowl.
Yes, and pick a wicket as well. Yeah, that was good.
Awesome.
Yeah. And who's got points for that?
We'll find out very shortly. This is a good one. I'll end with this one from Ayush Pillai. What are the rules regarding ball changes in T20s? Saw the ball being changed often. Very good question, Ayush. I think it simply is down to the umpires.
It's on to the umpires. I mean, if they think it's too wet, whatever it is, I mean, it boils down to them.
And who asks them?
Yeah, so look, you know, it's a tactic. It is a tactic, though. You know, we've seen it with numerous captains in Test cricket. If the ball's not swinging, they'll keep on complaining. It always gets handed to the umpire. It's the same here.
So every over take it to the umpire.
Yeah, hey, it's wet. Look, it's slippery. Whether it is or not. Both times you saw the ball.
Common theme in New Zealand cricket, isn't it?
Baz was the master of it. In Test cricket, absolutely. You have to be with the Kookaburra ball. You have to be with the Kookaburra ball. You know, and then you can only ask the question, and Chennai seemed to ask the question a little bit more than the Kings did. And every time they changed the ball, it stuck in the wicket a little bit more. It was easier to grip. It didn't slide on. So it actually brought them back into the game quite a bit.
Yeah, I know that theme has been picked up by some of our viewers as well. It's like all the players who've been picked for the World Cup have had the worst 48 hours. And I think we can put that aside.
They've been celebrating.
No, I mean, you're also, a lot of them are in the Mumbai team, and that's not a great place to be right now. Teams losing, different dressing room. You could say the same about a number of the other contenders. So. Anyway, we leave it there. It's done. Let's stop talking about the World Cup squad. It's done now. Let's just see how they play. All right. That is pretty much a wrap. I don't think I've missed anything big. There are a lot of good questions coming through. Questions on who they can possibly play. We've answered that. If Patirana and Deshpande continue to be out, they'd really be hoping that they're better now. But yeah, let's put that in storage until we hear from the CSK camp. I'm sure there'll be a lot said. Let's now move to a quick fire review of the game. And it's a really important win for Punjab Kings. So let's get a quick fire review, 20 seconds or less, gents. You know how the drill works. Let's start with you, Deep. What made Harpreet Brar and Rahul Chahar so difficult to score off today? 20 seconds.
Right. Obviously, the surface had a lot more help for the spinners today, so that helped. But I think what they really did well was the lines and lengths, and them being brave enough to pitch it up to the batsman. A lot of bowlers, spinners especially, they don't do that because they don't want to get into the arc, but they were brave enough tonight to do it, and they got the reward for it.
Excellent. Mitch, your turn. Why did Chennai reject their batting order, and how much did it cost them?
And why did they do it? They've just followed the blueprint that they've done the last couple of games where when they've needed someone in the middle order, Jadeja's gone up. The Rizvi one, I don't know why they keep on putting Daryl Mitchell and Moeen Ali behind their impact sub. That's a mystery, so I'm just as perplexed.
Okay. All right, Shashank, take one yourself. Rate Sam Curran's decision to hold Chahar back for the 19th and his captaincy today.
Outstanding. Captaincy was on cue. Didn't miss a beat. I mean, you had the luxury. He had the luxury of an extra bowler in Harshal Patel. Strategically didn't use him because the spinners did well, and that proved to be a game changer towards the end. So, full marks.
All right, excellent. Mitch, how do you expect Chennai to cope without Mustafizur Rahman now?
Yeah, well, I mean, it becomes an even bigger loss if Patirana is out for a few extra games. I think Mustafizur has been the find for Chennai this season, started the tournament beautifully and has continued throughout. So it's going to be a massive loss, but there was some positives from Gleeson tonight as well.
All right, back to you, Deep. Why did Riley Russo find it so much easier to score tonight?
Obviously, the second half, the pitch got better, and because of the dew, it was difficult for the bowlers to grip it, even though the ball was changed a few times. And he seemed to be finding that rhythm. First couple of innings didn't get much. Last innings, he's starting to look better. Now, this innings, he really looked good. And I think the bowlers kind of bowled into his strength, which is back of length. He's good square off the wicket.
All right. And this all of you can take. CSK with 5 wins and 5 losses now. Will they not make the playoffs?
Ooh. I guess looking at the injury list and the bowling injury list, it looks, I mean, because we still don't know about Pathirana's injuries and Tushar Deshpande's injury, how many games are they going to be laid off for? So, yeah, it's a tricky one. If those guys are not available for a few games, it can get very tricky because they only have one more game out of, 4 left, 1 in Chennai,
and 1 in
but
Chepauk.
3
That's right.
on... I think Ahmedabad is one of them.
Yes, they now have
Bangalore, Ahmedabad, and
Punjab and Gujarat, and Dharamshala and Ahmedabad, and Rajasthan in Chennai.
There you go. So Ahmedabad can be high scoring, but maybe this season not that much. But yeah, Dharamshala and Bangalore definitely two high scoring venues.
And Dharamshala and home game at Chennai are afternoon games. So,
okay.
Yeah, and finally they finish at the Chinnaswamy.
So yeah.
So will that Rajasthan game at Chepauk be Dhoni's last game? That is not a question I'm asking you.
We're not going to get to that yet.
I am not going to ask you that question. We're going to go to that. And Tom would be very pleased. He's the one who called it pre-season. That he thinks CSK don't have the firepower this season. They may not make the playoffs. Yes, the question is whether you see 4 teams playing better than them right now. So maybe we'll go back to this tomorrow for Sunrisers Rajasthan. Big game as well. All right, that is a wrap of the game. It is now time to enter the impact zone. Mitchell McClenaghan with a massive win.
Jeez, didn't have much competition, did I?
Well, close for second and third. How good is fourth?
Oh, you love fourth.
9.5. Single digits.
Yeah,
I
tough.
think it's after quite a while someone's ended up with single digits.
4th, 3rd, 2nd. Okay, my turn's coming.
Do you know how much my impact zone costs? 16 crore, 18.5 crore, 14 crore. And look at my returns.
9.5.
That is just...
Mine's pretty expensive too. Harshal Patel, Daryl Mitchell.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't impressive, was it? I think those impact zone scores kind of reflect the quality of the game.
Yeah, fair point.
Yeah. I mean, we needed someone to go Brar, Rahul Chahar, Riley Russo. That would have been the win.
And we would have laughed pre-show.
That wouldn't have happened. Anyway, excellent from Harpreet Brar and Rahul Chahar. By the way, we have heap praise on them in our mid-show when Punjab did such a good job to restrict CSK, and that's what's given them the points. Right, Mitch McClenaghan, thank you very much. Deep Dasgupta, we will see both of you back in action for a big game. SRHR tomorrow. We are sending Shashank Kishore to do what he does best in a nice big car with air condition, not by the local train, to the Wankhede Stadium, or rather the BCCI headquarters, because the chairman of selectors and the Indian captain are addressing the press tomorrow.
Oh, wow. Nice.
What would be your first question to them, Shashank? Just let's give us a tease.
I mean, they're going to be flooded with why Rinku, why no Rinku, and and so it's pretty predictable. You're never going to get all the questions in. So I expect it to be a very chaotic affair. It's at 4:00 in the afternoon.
Would you like to go as well? Or like
Yeah, I'm not staying too far from there. Maybe on my way to drop in.
Okay. Shashank,
No Rinku Singh is the big talking point of
I thought you'd come up with something more sort of interesting. No, come on. All right, anyway. Okay, we leave it there. Thanks. We look forward to your company as well on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout, powered by JBL. Download the mobile app. If you haven't already, it'll have you covered with everything happening from the world of cricket. And the IPL is really hotting up now. These wins for Punjab against CSK, crucial in the race to the playoffs. And tomorrow, Sunrisers need to pick things up. They need to get back on track. They've lost 2 on the trot. They're up against the table-topping Rajasthan Royals back at home in Hyderabad. Should be a good one. And we shall see you then. Good night.
All new hot and techy Brezza, the city bred SUV.